Hi guys, welcome to the official episode of the Whisper Room. Okay, so today I have a very special guest. Her name is Sharm. And you can just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sharm. Known Rachel since secondary school. She's a really long time. Yeah.
I think it's not that long because we had a few lapses in our friendship.
One lapse.
No, multiple lapses, but the recent lapse was a really long time.
One lapse?
No, we always fought and broke up.
No, we didn't. No, but we've never taken an actual break because we've always been in the same school together.
Okay, yes.
So we couldn't take a break. We were in the same class all the time. So I couldn't run away even if I wanted to.
Yeah, okay.
Just one lapse.
We were friends since secondary school, then JC. We were supposed to be in completely different JCs. Somehow we ended up in the same JC.
Ended up in the same subject combi. Same class.
Same class.
Wasn't supposed to happen.
Really no way that could have happened, but it happened.
It happened, yeah, it did.
And I was actually low-key excited. I was like, yes.
Of
But she
course
was so disappointed.
Okay, I wasn't that disappointed.
I saw your face when we were checking the list. Okay, basically there's a list, right? You can see your name and then the class. And then cause her name is Sharm. And then for me, my index number is Tan Rachel. So it's ST, right? So we literally like after each other and you could see like...
I wasn't disappointed.
No, but you were so scared because you knew that we were going to fight.
Yeah, we fought a lot.
A lot.
We did.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But that is not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're talking about recognizing the red flags in a romantic relationship. Yeah. And we have... I think we can share about that also because... Do you want to just say it?
We have the same ex.
Is it a year moment or is it like a...
At this point, it's a year moment. When it happened, it wasn't a year moment.
Yes. Okay, so disclaimer, right? Whatever that we're going to be talking about today, we acknowledge that there are many different types of toxic relationships. And obviously, we cannot be talking about everything. And we might say certain things that come off insensitive. However, that is not our intention. So please do not take it the wrong way. And also, another disclaimer is that even though we have the same ex, right, it happened like different timelines, okay?
Mm-hmm.
None of us did any of the whole cheating. None of that happened. It's just that she dated him first, and then we weren't friends.
Yeah, I broke up with Rachel.
Yeah, she broke up with me, and then she broke up with her ex, and then I got together with her ex.
Just cutting off all the toxic people in my life.
Yeah, but now I'm not toxic anymore. Okay?
Yeah, so that's why she's in my life.
Yeah, and she's a guest on my podcast. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so maybe we can just talk a little bit first about what are the different types of like toxic relationships, like just the overarching ones. So there's like mental, which is like gaslighting, manipulation, a lot of like the whole like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough for you, so maybe I should just like leave. Yeah. And then there is the physical abuse, which is
physical.
Yes. There is sexual, which is, I think, something that is pretty common nowadays.
Very manipulative also. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And of course, there's verbal. Yeah, but I think the last three that I mentioned definitely fall under mental as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we are struggling, okay, even before we clicked the camera and before we started recording, on how we're actually going to share and talk about it. So maybe we can just...
I'm just looking at... She wrote down a list of things we can talk about, and there's just some typos here, and I just look at it.
Yeah, okay, I always make typos. Okay, and because she's my friend for so many years, she knows what I actually mean. So let's just like ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how we're going to start. Maybe we can start with... That was your... Okay, the ex that we're talking about. That was your first actual relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like
first proper relationship.
Yeah,
yes.
and that was the same for mine. So I think both of us were entering a place where we never been to before.
Mm-hmm.
We were unaware of how we're going to recognize certain things that were unhealthy for us.
Yeah.
And I think I can say for both of us also, we became toxic people after that.
Yeah.
And during the relationship. Because, you know, you're kind of stuck in that headspace. And if that person is constantly toxic and using this kind of like, I would say manipulation, then inevitably you would kind of do it onto that person too. Then you don't know who's the bad guy. It's like a very unromantic version of like Harley Quinn and Joker, I feel. Will you say it?
Harley Quinn and Joker are not even... They are romantic, but it's like movie romance. No,
but it's like toxic.
No, but that's the thing. I feel like when I was in that relationship, I saw it as some movie romance. I always told him like, this is some movie romance.
Really?
Yeah, because
Which part was the?
because I didn't think that it was toxic. Like, okay, I've never been in a relationship, so all I've known about relationships are just from movies, and I'm such a romance freak. Okay,
Yeah.
love it so much. So like the drama and all that, I feel like all those like emotional highs and lows make me feel like this is something that is like real.
Yeah.
Like I think I was really invested in the roller coasters.
Okay, because the movies made it seem as though it's like that is the way it should
like
be.
you have to cry in your room and sob, then that's real love.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what, I feel like that got me into the whole like, oh, it's not toxic, this is romance. Like, this is what
it's
it
just
is.
I love him so much. That's why I'm feeling all these things. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and just to say, right, when Sharm was in the relationship, I was her friend. I was a really good friend. So I was seeing all these things happen, and then
You still go in for him.
yeah.
Yep.
So the fool is
fool
not
is-
him. It's not Sharm. It's me. I'm the fool because I put myself in that situation after seeing it happen.
Reuse,
like, right in front
reduce, recycle.
Yeah, Rachel.
4 R's.
So the 4 R's. Yeah. That was all about
That was
it.
literally what I was saying behind your back.
Okay, yeah, okay. So Sharm was very unhappy with me, which I can totally understand. But we have made up, so there's no reason for.
I wasn't super unhappy because at the end of the day, to me, it was like I left these two people, right? So I left the friendship with Rachel. I left the relationship with him, and I wanted to focus on my studies.
Yeah, and herself.
At that time I was J3, so like it really sucked that I failed econ, so I couldn't go to uni. So yeah, but I think like leaving the two of them made me feel like bad also lah, cause I did feel like it wasn't right to do that, but I had to. So I thought that okay, if they're gonna be together, maybe they'll be happy with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the most part, don't get me wrong, I was happy. It wasn't like a extremely depressing relationship. I was happy, but I think there were certain things that I didn't recognize. And I think for me, if I would just talk about myself, I was so desperate on making sure that this relationship I have is perfect because it's Sham's ex. So it's like I need to prove to Sham also, because after that we made up, right? I need to prove to Sham that this relationship was worth having and worth like making her a little bit upset, and just the need to prove to everybody else also, because everyone knew about this whole situation and everyone was just like, oh my god, Rachel, like and I needed to prove that our relationship was healthy.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I think when I was thinking about this, right, I realized that a lot of people, enter toxic relationships because of their past trauma also. Like, I know that I get a lot of anger issues. I have a lot of anger issues. And that is mainly because of my childhood. Like, I'm always in an angry space. So I only know how to express frustration through anger and not sadness. And like, for Sham, how do you...
I don't know. I think in terms of past trauma, it's probably just that I think I can be a bit emotionally manipulative. Yeah. Because if I don't get what I want, or like if the situation isn't going a certain way, and I know that, like, say for example, I made him angry or we're fighting, and then I feel like, okay, I'm at the losing end here, like, I don't want it to be on me, like, I don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
So then I just get sad, and I get sad to a point where it's like, I need you to comfort me. And I feel like maybe it's still the same until now. Yeah, I have this thing where it's like, if a guy raises his voice, or if my significant other is angry at me, I feel very small, like I feel very helpless. Yeah. So I guess that's some sort of trauma / emotional manipulation on my part.
Yeah. I mean, okay, firstly, we're not saying that when we are sharing about our past experiences that we are any way better than our exes.
For sure.
That is in no way what we're trying to say. And I think Sham can share about it later as well. Like, after her first ex, right? I mean, she went on and...
Yeah, and then I was toxic to someone else, which was bad.
Exactly,
yeah.
Yes. What we're trying to say is that it's a constant cycle. So maybe what the ex did to us might not have been just... It wouldn't have come out of nowhere. It would have came from something else. But we're not trying to psychoanalyze anybody. But we would just want to do this in order to... I mean, I don't know, have a discussion. How do we even look out for these types of toxic relationships? And then once we acknowledge it and once we know how to identify it, how do we deal with it? Like, is it that easy to leave? Because I know of so many stories where the individual is unable to leave this toxic space because they just think that, oh, like,
That's
but we are
love.
so in love, like, I can't leave him, he treats me so good, you know. And I think, like, how do we do it? And on social media, right, everyone's kind of like loving to like post like their romantic pictures and like creating this whole image of like
what a relationship is supposed to be.
Exactly.
Oh no, yes.
So no one wants to actually break up.
Okay, yeah, I feel like, yeah. No, okay, social media is a whole different thing. I think honestly it makes relationships like I don't know.
I think it's so superficial, but I have to say I'm really guilty.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's super insistent on like publishing me on social media because I need to show people that, like, yeah, you love me, you see you love me. Yeah, but my current boyfriend, he's totally not into social media. Like, he
Really?
doesn't really like to post as much. Like, he likes to watch people's stories, he likes to interact, but he doesn't like to post as much. But I think I put a lot of pressure on him, like showcasing me. Yeah. So a lot of things that we are still battling through. Yeah, but the main point is how as friends, like, how when we see someone who is going through like maybe something that is a bit toxic, do we immediately tell that person, like, hey, okay, for example, it's Sharm, like, hey Sharm, like, don't you think that you and so is a bit toxic? Like, honestly, when I did it with you and your ex the first time,
it didn't do anything.
yeah, you weren't affected, but you didn't care. It's like part of you knew that it was toxic, but you still carry on with it.
Yeah, I think
Why?
it's like you don't want to accept that it's toxic because in that moment you love the person so much, you want it to work, right?
Yeah.
So even if your friend tells you like, oh, this isn't really that like good for you,
Yeah.
and like this guy isn't, like, you know, maybe it isn't it. I think I would want to just still try to make it work.
But weren't you sad? You're more
hear
sad
it?
than happy, right? No, in the relationship.
Oh yeah, this guy told me that if the relationship is more sad than happy, then that's when you should leave. But I feel like with toxic relationships, there's also a bit of lying to yourself sometimes to make it more appealing in your eyes. Cause I mean, like, there's so much love. Like, to leave is like, I don't know, it'll be a bit hard.
Okay.
Right?
But so the main reason of you not wanting to leave him is because you still loved him. So at that point when you officially broke things up with him, you didn't have any love for him anymore? Or did you still have love, but some part of you just realized that, hey, I don't think this is going to work out because you are really toxic for me and you're really bad for my mental health?
I think, okay, our relationship was, it was on and off for about 1.5 to 2 years. On and off. Yeah, it was pretty on and off. So I think I stopped actually loving him pretty early on. I just went back because I missed that companionship. Yeah. So I think when I did finally break it off, it was really like I admitted that I just don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to take care of myself and like grow on my own. And I realized that you don't do any good for me. Maybe, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I will always still care to a certain extent for my exes, even if it's like a bad ex or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that at that point I was already like pretty okay with just being on my own. Like, I was done. Full stop, you know?
Yeah.
Because I kept going back and I kept realizing that every time I go back, I have this idea of what it could be. And the start of like that first month of going back, it always seems so like promising.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it's the same exact feeling of like disappointment.
Yeah.
So then I think after a while, I realized like there's no point going back.
So if during that time, let's say we reverse like maybe 2 years, and I was still your friend and you were still in that relationship, and I kept telling you like, Sham, this isn't working out, do you think that if you didn't have your own process of thinking like, oh, this is unhealthy, I'm ready to take care of myself, I can take care of myself, would you have listened to me, or do you think I would have just been like redundant?
Probably wouldn't have listened to you.
So then is it right for us to say that friends are not able to actually interfere in this kind of relationships because the person is so they're in it, right? So they're blind. They don't realize it. So as friends, what can we do?
I feel like,
what should I have done?
I honestly don't think you could have done anything.
Really?
You could have talked to me and told me like, you know, I don't think it's right, and it maybe would have like put some, like, make it a bit clearer for me to see.
Yeah.
You know, but I still think that at the end of the day, like, I would have just continued if I felt like I could do something about this, like fix it. Because I have friends also who are in relationships that seem toxic to me, right? If their boyfriend seems to be angry a lot and like has anger issues, like I would worry for my friend. And I would tell my friend like, hey, I realized that, you know, your significant other seems a bit like easily triggered, and like I just hope that he isn't taking it out on you too much or whatever. And I try not to tell them that, you know, I think your relationship is toxic, full stop.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what goes on at the end of the day, you know? Like, maybe my friend is already, like, handling it, and, like, her significant other is working on everything, like, to be a better significant other or boyfriend. But I think, like, I don't know, unless it's really bad, like
physical, like you would say physical and sexual would be bad. Yeah.
Or, like, if I know that my friend is just crying every day, like I would just straight up say, like, I had a friend who, I mean, her relationship is really good now, but at the start it was bad.
Okay.
And every day, like, I would just see her crying about it. You know? And I would tell her, like, honestly, if it isn't making you happy, and if this is just too much on you, like, you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, you will always think, like, okay, no, but it's because we just started out. You know, we are new to this, like, he's understanding me and I'm understanding him, and like everything's different and it's new. Yeah, but I mean, there's only so long you can try to make it work.
Yeah, you see, that's my issue, right? Like, you said that if it's something really bad, so it's like physical or like sexual, so like something tangible. But like verbal and like mental abuse is not that easy to quantify. So how do you actually like even say that to a person? And I think recently, like, most relationships usually circle around the whole like gaslighting, manipulation, and like we are so easy to call that out because we're not in that relationship. We are out of the picture. But the person inside, they don't realize it. They just think like, oh, you know, he loves me so much, that's why he wants me to wear this. Or he loves me so much, why would he ever try to do something bad towards me? He's always looking out for me. There's no one that can love me as much as he can. Which is what I heard for like the longest time. Yeah. So it's like, but I didn't realize it. I didn't see it as like manipulation. I didn't see it as gaslighting. I saw it as, oh, okay, but it's the truth. Like, maybe someone wouldn't be able to handle me as me compared to him. So that's why I stayed, because of that fear that I wouldn't be able to get that much love anymore. And that's just really bad manipulation.
That's just manipulation, like manipulating your insecurities.
Yeah. And that's because they are insecure. Because they are so afraid of losing you as a person.
Yeah.
Right. And I think sometimes it's just hard to even like explain how do you identify firstly, and then how do you deal with it, because I think I can say for a lot of people, we have at least been in one toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to be like, oh, I was in one toxic relationship and then my next relationship was super healthy. Like, how do you prevent that from carrying on? Because that's how you deal with your partner, right? Especially if it's your first relationship. So in your next relationship, when you fight, I think it's inevitable that you carry on some things from your past, and that's what happened to you also.
Yeah.
And then how did you realize like halfway, like, oh shit, I am becoming him, or after the entire relationship, and then you were like, oh, like when did it like click in your head?
So for me, I feel like I leave people very easily, right? But that's one of the reasons why I was on and off with my first ex-boyfriend, because I kept feeling like maybe I'm leaving too soon, you know? But then I just keep leaving, going back. And then I dated someone else, and then I left too soon also. And especially for that relationship, I felt like I left too soon. But yeah, anyway, but that doesn't matter now. But yeah, so then with the third relationship, damn, I just sound so horrible.
No,
so many.
There is, okay, firstly, there is nothing wrong with having like a few exes. I mean, like, how do you quantify that also, honestly? Like, it's so what? Yeah, I think you are in a proper relationship now, right? I don't know whether young people know that your relationship status, but she's attached, guys.
If my parents are watching, you didn't hear this. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know this.
Yeah. I don't think they'll hear it, honestly.
If my parents watch, I'm dead, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, so yeah, but I think you are in a healthy relationship now, but it had to take so many trials and errors, and I think that was needed. Yeah. So there's no reason for you to feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can share.
So by my third relationship, I was like, you know what? I think the problem is me. I keep leaving too soon. And then I overstayed my welcome. So it was 2 relationships that were just me leaving so quickly, and then third one was just me staying for too long and not realizing that I should have gone like a lot earlier. Like I think 4 months into that relationship, I already felt like, okay, maybe this isn't it.
Yeah.
You know, like the love that I feel for this person just isn't as much as it should be.
But would you say that is also part of your whole idea of like romantic movie love?
Probably. Yeah, probably. But
Okay.
I think so like 4 months in, I was already having a bit of issues with like how I was feeling. And then I think I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
And like, because you know me well enough, you told me like, you don't think this is the guy for me? And I kind of feel like, I kind of feel that too. But then only 1 year into the relationship, I was on the bus with him, and then I just thought to myself, do I see myself marrying this guy? And I didn't.
Yeah.
And then that was the downfall, where I just like, nah.
But you still stayed, right, for a few more months?
I stayed for a few more months, and we had breaks. So it was like a 1 week break. And whenever I did break up with him, I would cry so much because it was so painful to me. And then when we got back together, it felt like bliss. It was like perfect for like a week. Because like I said, it's when you go back to someone and you have this whole idea of, okay, everything's gonna work out.
Yeah.
You've talked about it, like there is hope.
Yeah.
And that hope literally like just blinds you.
Yeah.
And then 1 week later, you're like, we're literally the same. Nothing has changed, and I don't think anything will change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, I had to leave.
So it's your hope of making the relationship better because you thought that there was love.
Yeah, and there's like a fresh start. Fresh.
But how can it be a fresh start with an old person?
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like it works. Like, even though I've gone back to a lot of exes, I will not say that maybe you should if it's worth it, but also you need to take care of yourself at the end of the day. Don't go back to someone if it was really, really toxic for you, don't go back to that person.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, right now everybody is like really woke, right? So they're always saying like, oh, in a relationship, you're not two halves, you're two wholes that make your life better. It's really cheesy and really cringy, but I think it's really true.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put yourself first. No matter a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship, or even a familiar one. Because this is the only thing that you have to work with for the rest of your life. You can choose to ignore everybody else. You can't ignore yourself. Then if you put everybody else and the relationship as a bigger priority than how you feel inside, I think it's a really big issue.
Yeah.
And that's why many people are stuck at where they are, because they are so afraid to be by themselves because they are not comfortable with who they are as a person. And I'm not preaching, because sometimes I'm not comfortable with myself as a person also. I need that company.
Yeah.
But it's how much you indulge in that becomes over dependence also.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's easier said than done.
Yes, definitely,
for sure.
definitely.
Because I mean, there's that whole thing about, oh, you can't love someone if you don't love yourself.
Yes.
I never got it. I was like, what? I don't get it. But I kind of get it.
You kind of get it.
I kind of get it. But also, like, I kind of ignore it sometimes.
So you don't think that it's important for you to love yourself? Justin Bieber has a whole song about it.
BTS has a whole album. Honestly.
Oh my god.
No, but honestly, okay, like, I get it. It is important to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you will never know what you're worth.
Yeah.
So someone can just, like, treat you really badly. You won't even see it. You think that this is love.
Yeah.
Right? So to that extent, yeah, I get it. You need to be able to know where you stand, like, what's your worth.
Yeah.
You know?
What kind of love you're supposed to actually receive. Yeah, it's really hard because when you think, oh, this is the love I deserve, it is through like many different examples of what love has been offered to you in your life. So in your life, if you haven't been able to experience healthy relationships, maybe your idea of love is also warped in your head.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So it's like everything is so hard because kind of everything is like nurtured since young.
That's true.
Then can you really kind of blame someone when they're being toxic? Because they don't know that they are not loving. They don't know that they are manipulative. I know, I mean, the person that I know, he thinks that he is the best boyfriend in the world. He thinks that he's the best. He really loves, like, wholeheartedly, you know, all in. Does the most for his girlfriends. But his girlfriends don't see it that way. His girlfriends see it as toxic, really a lot of manipulation, a lot of like stress, but he doesn't see it that way.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even see that he's wrong.
Yeah, I think, okay, in that case, right, I wished, honestly, when I left him, I wished I was brave enough to tell him, but I think I was more focused on leaving. So
But
I didn't even care.
Someone like that would never realize that they are wrong because there's something called enablers. There are always going to be people in your life, even in my life. Like, you know, sometimes I think I enable Sharm when she fights with her current boyfriend, sometimes. You know? And I'm just like, oh yeah, like, just be angry with him, you know? And she does that with my boyfriend. I'm always the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I enable her boyfriend.
Yeah, she enables my boyfriend, not me.
No, because I feel like, okay, her boyfriend is more similar to me and my boyfriend is more similar to Rachel.
Yes.
Which is just weird that we just talked about how we have the same accents.
Yeah, basically I'm someone who's very direct. And I'm very aggressive.
You're very
sense.
easily angered.
Yes, I'm also very easily angered, but I also close off really fast. Like, I'm just very volatile.
So when you get angry, you don't necessarily, it's hard for you to see the other person's point of view and their emotions and their emotional state.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very fortunately for me, my current boyfriend now is much more capable in helping me understand that I should listen to him. Yeah, but Sham, on the other hand, she's pretty emotional. She feels things when she's upset, right? She's not angry. Her first instinct is not anger. Her first instinct is sadness.
That's something I had to develop though. Because in my previous relationship, before him, my current boyfriend, I was just super toxic. So every little thing that I didn't like, the immediate reaction would be anger. And then after I broke up with him, I realized like I don't want to bring that into another relationship because I'm never going to be happy.
Yeah.
So then I realized that the reason why I translate things to my feelings into anger is because that's the safest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because to be vulnerable is just hard.
Yeah.
Right? And especially if the person isn't going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Or like listen to you. So then I just translate everything into anger. But now I see it as like, if I'm sad, if I'm upset about something, I'm just going to be raw about it. There's no point in me shouting at you or like just being angry first. Because being angry first, then the other person's going to get defensive or confused. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, you made me sound like a really bad guy.
Oh, no.
But okay, everyone knows, okay, I'm someone who's, if I'm angry, I'm angry. I will just say it straight up to the point. I forgot what I wanted to say.
No, yeah, you're going to talk about how, because you are the kind that gets angry first, right? And I'm not. That's how I'm similar to you, to your current boyfriend.
Yes, okay, that's how I'm similar to my
So that's why
boyfriend.
I can relate.
Yeah, that's why. No, but that wasn't what I was going to talk about.
Oh,
I was going to talk about something else.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but basically what I was just trying to say is that like, when we, like, okay, Sham's a great example because she saw that she was being toxic in her previous relationships and she made the effort to change. Some people, they don't realize that they need to change. And then that becomes a huge issue.
Yeah.
Because, oh no, I was talking about enablers.
Yeah.
Yes, so I enable Sham and she enables my ex-boyfriend.
Isn't that what I'm kind of
No, but you didn't say the word enable.
I said
See, the
support.
enable was the
really...
trigger word for me.
Okay,
to
enable.
trigger like my mind flowing again. Yeah, okay, so some people have enablers in their life that always tell them, no bro, you're like the best boyfriend, bro.
Oh,
Any
man.
girl is lucky to have you. Bro, you love her so much, bro. You're my best fan, bro. Like, obviously you're the best. Yeah, and when that happens, the person will never change. And I'm not saying it's not good to enable someone, but enable the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if both people are feeding off each other and being all like, yeah, bro, like that whole like bro, like hyping bros up, then you are always going to remain a toxic person.
Yeah.
And everything that you step into and everything that you touch will be toxic.
Honestly, that's actually a really important point because like we always talk about the victims.
Yeah.
But what about like the person who is toxic in the relationship?
Yeah.
Do their friends not notice that they are being toxic?
I'm pretty sure that they do, right? Like, okay, for you and I, when I'm being toxic, you tell me. Like, you're just like, Rachel, you cannot do this.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to like take into account how Mr. Xiao Keke, that's how I call him now in my contacts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Xiao Keke is feeling, right? And when Sham is upset, or when her boyfriend expresses to me how he feels, then I'll tell her like, okay, you see, but you know, you need to consider it this way, that way. because we understand that we need to grow.
Yeah, there's no point in just like enabling your friend just because it's your friend.
Yes.
But like if they're doing something wrong and it's not gonna help the relationship, then you should, I mean, if you support the relationship, you should at least try to help them work it out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, okay, I mean, I don't mean to be sexist. Okay?
Then
but
don't say it.
No, okay. But I feel like guys have a higher tendency to hype up their bros, especially in terms of relationships. Because they are the men and they are the alpha most of the time. I would say that I'm an alpha woman.
Yeah.
But my boyfriend would totally disagree. But
It's true.
you know,
It's true.
It's
So
true.
it's so true.
it's true. What?
I'm gonna go closer to the mic. It's true.
It's
Rachel
true.
is so alpha. It's hard to be her friend sometimes. It's true.
Now you're gonna get me cancelled on my own podcast.
You already just talked about sexist stuff.
I know. Okay. Firstly, I think that we have to acknowledge, okay, that guys hold more power because of like the past and the history and the previous like misogynistic men who ruled the world. Okay, that this is kind of like the world that we are living in right now. So I think I'm not wrong to say that most guys, okay,
Some guys.
they like to enable each other.
Yeah.
And then that makes things worse. But for females, I'm not saying that we don't enable each other. I'm pretty sure we do. We have the whole like, oh, she's my best friend, so if she's cheating, I will never say anything. You know that whole thing on TikTok? There's this trend right now.
Oh my god, there is?
Yes, there's this trend. And
What?
I totally disagree with
If
it.
my friend is cheating, that's it.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. I think it also depends on how much you're willing to grow. And how much your friend is receptive to growth as well. If you both are egoistic and think that you are the best, then maybe you're the best now at 1990. By 1998, you're no longer the best because people are growing and improving and you're not upgrading yourself, bro.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because you
1990?
really like I'm saying the year, like year, you know, addition. Like in the year 1990, you were the best
Oh.
boyfriend.
I thought you were like, I'm the best at 1990, and I was just like, what's 1990? Are you your age? Like you were
No,
born in
no.
1990? Okay. Then why did you just say I'm the best in 2021?
Okay, no, but I needed to show like progression, but we're already in 2021, you see.
But it could
So
be
I wanted to show like,
anyway.
okay, no, she's just slow. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I mean, right? Like if you always think that you're the best, you have no capacity to grow because you think that you've already reached your peak. But we are not built to reach our peak.
Yeah.
We are limitless, right? We are supposed to expand and to grow. But if you don't grow, then mental, physical, sexual, verbal, and all different kinds of abuse and manipulation is going to happen in your relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to look back at your relationships and like think about
Yeah,
what
your
went wrong.
past relationships, yeah.
Especially if you've had a lot
Yes.
of like toxic relationships.
Yes. Or
Yeah.
sometimes you just need one to really
Yeah.
traumatize you. Yeah, really traumatize you, make you feel like you're a really crazy person, you know.
Yeah.
And I think what helped for me. Okay, let's just talk about how we deal with it, right? Because I think we are not perfect, but we are learning to identify our toxic traits and then trying to improve ourselves for our current relationship.
Yeah.
So for me, when I got out of the relationship, I obviously knew that I had a lot of issues to tackle. I'm crazy. Like my biggest problem is that my anger is always out of proportion. Like I'm always angry.
Very dramatic.
Yes, I'm very dramatic, as you can tell. And I'm very explosive as well.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to curb that. And I mean, it's not always 100% successful. I get really mad sometimes,
Yeah.
you know. But what really helped me was my friends. Like they really sat me down and told me like, Rachel, okay, this relationship, your past relationship was so toxic because of this, but you also needed to grow. And you also need to realize that you allowed yourself to be in that.
Yeah.
You know? And I think firstly, like for me, I felt a lot of shame. Shame because I got into a relationship knowing that it was going to be toxic.
Yeah, because you knew
I had an example.
Yeah.
You see?
I was the example, but you ignored it.
And I even could call and reference, not like some museum artifact that I cannot like
Yeah.
talk to anymore. I could call her, but I didn't. I allowed myself to be in that circumstance, and I stayed for so long.
No, but I also think you stayed because you just wanted this relationship to be the last, to make it work.
Yeah, and I think like some part of me thought that it was love, right? And I think there's a lot of manipulation as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just not gonna go into it too much because in case
He's probably gonna watch it.
Yes, yeah. But I think if you are watching it, I think you should take some time and reflect. I'm not saying that we were wrong. I'm not saying that we were right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that both in a toxic relationship, right, it's never just one person that's toxic and then the other person is completely just pure.
Yeah.
Eventually both of you will pollute each other. That's what I'm trying to say. So for me, a lot of my friends were really quick to tell me like these things need to change about you. And you also need to be smarter in the people that you choose to be vulnerable with. Right? Like the boyfriend that I have now is completely different from my past relationship.
Yeah.
Because I recognize that these are the traits that I don't want.
Yeah.
These are the things that made me feel bad and made me be bad. So I'm gonna be with someone who makes me feel good and want to be a good person.
Yeah. I think it's really important to like look out for what you don't like and make sure you don't go back to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I mean the what everyone always says, what? The world is full of fishes. What? The sea is full of fishes?
There are many fish in the sea.
Yeah. There are many fishes.
Was that such a hard thing to quote?
There are many fishes in the sea. Your world is your oyster. Your oyster is your world.
Wait, that's actual thing?
Yes.
The world is an oyster.
The world is your oyster.
Why is it my oyster?
It's like special, I guess. Like
Why
high grade
don't-
quality.
Oysters are disgusting.
I mean, there's pearls.
Oh, but then there's only one pearl.
Yeah, but that pearl can be everything.
Okay, I have no idea where this is
I have
going.
no idea where this is going either. But basically, what we're trying to say is that you have so many men that you can you can get to know.
Doesn't have to be a man.
All women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. Men or women. Or
Non-binary.
yes, okay. Yeah. For you to like experience, know what you like, you can even start off with friendships. I think that is very important. For both of us lah. We want to be friends with that person before deciding that we are ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because when you're friends, you don't really feel like you need to hide a certain part of yourself.
Yes.
You're more open, you're more raw, you're more like, you can see me ugly, like you can see me fat, you can see me burp, but you can also see my really like raw, vulnerable side when I'm angry, like this is how I really behave.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can decide for yourself, is this person, am I ready to deal with that person?
Yeah.
Can I accept the way or she like thinks?
I feel like recently, or like I don't know, like there's a lot of pressure to just date, like with Tinder, with all those like you know, like everyone just dates first. Like you meet this person to date.
But I think it's a bit different from ours, right? Because we are talking about like serious relationships that we want to settle down.
Yeah.
But some people just want to go into casual dating to gain experience and to also just kind of take things slow.
I mean,
they're more free spirited, I guess.
Some people get into serious relationships from dating apps, and that's great.
True,
that's amazing.
That's
wow.
really cute. It's
That's
like my
special.
own. That's my romance. Romance story.
That I can never see that happening for me, because I know
same.
that if I were to meet someone with the intention to date a person, I would be like, for the first like 3 months, it's probably just gonna be this facade.
Really? Okay, the thing is I can't even do that. Like I cannot go on a date with someone that I'm not friends with.
Oh, that's true.
I feel so uncomfortable.
It's
Like
awkward.
I don't know, because I know that the intention is to you know, and how am I supposed to behave?
Yeah.
Like we are so chill. Like we are really like
I mean, I will always prefer dating a person that I'm already friends with.
yes. And I think that is a place where you can start
Yeah.
getting to know people. If you are evergreen or if you are looking for a way to kind of, I'm not saying minimize the risk.
Don't
but
look. Just let it happen.
Yeah. And I think friends are always a safer place to start. Because you have mutual friends. You have people who are ready to protect you as well. You know?
But don't go like pushing someone into a relationship,
yeah.
especially if they're your friend. If they're not interested, just I don't know. I realize there are a lot of people out there who get really upset, hurt, ego. You know, did that affect the mic? I don't know. No, there are a lot of people who get upset about like getting rejected, and then they just end the friendship completely. And I think that kind of sucks. This happened to me a few times.
Really?
Yeah, last time.
Huh?
God, don't act as if I got no people want me.
Nobody did that to me. Why?
Maybe they just like you too much, but no, I have had people who like confess to me, and when I say like I'm not really interested, like I'm sorry, I see you as a friend and I really appreciate the friendship. Yeah, then they just disappear.
Okay, but would you rather that, or would you rather someone who will be like, oh, it's okay, we can still be friends, and then like
still tries to pursue.
Yeah.
No, both is bad. But like, I think to me the best thing to do is when you confess to a person, don't go in thinking that you will get something out of it. Always respect that there is another.
But I think it's really
opinion.
hard though. Like,
I mean, to me, right, is if you've had a friendship for a very long time and then you confess and the person doesn't feel the same way, you can't just like leave the friendship like that.
yeah, but exactly why, okay, this is where we disagree, right? Exactly why they have been friends with you for so long and they have feelings for you, it's so intense because they have journeyed with you for so many years. They know who you are and they like who you are. That's why they want to progress things further. So if they don't stop themselves and they remove them and not remove themselves from that picture, right, how are they going to be able to draw a boundary?
Okay,
it's
well,
hard.
you can remove yourself.
Do you not have that experience with a particular friend who has boundary issues? Like, oh, I shouldn't like you anymore, but you're my friend, but how? But this,
Of
but
course.
that, right?
Okay, no, but to me, right, it's like, if you need space, be honest.
Right.
Yeah, just be honest about it. I mean, if you really confess, you're really honest enough. Just be honest and say that, I'm sorry, I need space, you know? And like, hopefully that one day you guys can like be friends again. But like, to me, what happened was that the person just like disappeared.
I have no idea who she's talking about.
I'll
by
tell
the
you
way.
later.
The whole entire time that we have been having this podcast, we have been knowing what we're talking about, like, but through like no eyes, so we know like, oh, this is the name of the person.
Know.
But I have no idea who she's talking about.
We
like,
were texting so much. We were watching the same shows, everything. We were close, but like, he's sketchy. It's okay. I'm glad that we're not friends anymore.
I'm so ready to end this podcast because I want to know who is she.
Oh,
I was just telling her I can hear her scratch her leg. Yeah, it's ASMR. Now we have the segment of ASMR. But yeah, okay, I think honestly, I feel like maybe we've covered a lot, or maybe we've covered nothing at all.
Honestly, sometimes halfway through this podcast, right, I was feeling like, okay, are we even talking about toxic relationships?
Yeah, I honestly
we're just
don't
talking.
know. Yeah, okay, but I hope that you guys did enjoy it though. This is my first time filming it. It's not going to be the first official episode because there's just schedule issues, but this is the first time that we are filming and this is the first time actually having a guest over. So please be patient while I try to navigate this new project and try to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And if you guys have any feedback, just hit me up on my socials, on Instagram and on TikTok if you want.
Rich.Sophia.
Yeah, rich.sophia, rach.sophia. And you can follow Miss Sunrise over here if you want.
Sunrise Sharm. No, that sounds lame. don't you don't have to.
No,
it's
you
okay.
can, okay. So you know how to spell sunrise, right? And then SHARM.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just follow us on our socials. Thank you so much for listening and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.